real quick, I think a lot of people are blending different things where they're seeing, I have a letter on the table over there that was from North Reddington Beach with my substantial damage percentage, which is specifically from that town. It doesn't really have anything to do with you guys. And, so yeah, break that, because I think people are seeing a few things. They're seeing the substantial damage letters, which are starting to come out. They're getting their initial flood claim, information, and then they're seeing the 50% letter that's available on the website. And a lot of people have like morphed all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
I think I just did what I was talking about right there.
Right. So if you could clarify that.
Yeah, I'll try it. Yeah, there's a lot of myths and rumors, and if you go on Facebook and Nextdoor, you can invest months going down the rabbit hole on some of that stuff. And there's some good information, some accurate information there, but in many cases there's a lot of misinformation. So and a lot of it's very jurisdiction specific too. So in a county where you have 24 different cities plus on the unincorporated county, they're all doing stuff in a slight variation at a minimum. So I'll go back to one of the early myths was that our office was sending out this FEMA letter to everyone. We never mailed that letter to anyone. It's been on our website for over a decade, and has lived there. That has always broken down. It was there for two purposes: for FEMA 50% rule issues, mostly for substantial improvement, for people that are trying to do something, doing work within the floodplain in the special flood hazard area. They have to meet that guideline. That's in our floodplain ordinance. It's also in Florida Building Code. And then obviously it's a NFIP FEMA requirement, which is where it all rained down from to begin with, essentially. So we created that as just mostly as a convenience. So it was easy for people to get a structure value to do that. Works really great if you're putting a roof on, putting some new doors and windows in, things like that. It was never really designed for worst case scenarios, substantial damage type situations. Now we're faced with that, and unfortunately a lot of people are concerned because the structure value comes up light for what they need to do. We don't always get inside houses. We rarely get inside of houses. So we don't know that they just invested $150,000 on the inside and really redid their electric. Some of it's permitted, some of it may not be, and so quality and condition could vary. So those things can obviously affect that value swing. And I'll go into a little bit more of that in a second. I want to get back to the FEMA letter. So FEMA wants me to change the name of our FEMA letter. They don't like being attached to that. I understand that, but at the same time, I said I'm not changing anything midstream because that's how what people know it by, and that's really the purpose of it is for the 50% rule. So if I go and call it something else, they're not going to know what the heck I'm talking about.
Right.
So we can't change horses midstream there. So I've been pushing back on that right now. I said, when you guys change risk rating 2.0 and start listening to us more on giving people a break on elevating their homes and giving them a break on their insurance, then I'll change the name of the FEMA letter.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, a little horse trading.
Yeah. Well, cheers to that for sure.
Yeah. So one thing, 50% rule, some jurisdictions have a 49% rule. That was adopted by some jurisdictions to get larger discounts within the National Flood Insurance Program. So if you get a 49%, it gave you more community rating system points, which increases your discount. So that's why some of them did it. So our letter has been reprogrammed to be smart now. So whatever jurisdiction you're in, you'll see it flip from 50 to 49. So it does the math correctly based on where you live. So it picks up on the tax district and does it appropriately. So want to let people know, because that's a change that we implemented since the storm. Other things, we're working on condos right now, because condos have not been able to fit the letter because condos have to be an entire building per FEMA. So you have to roll up all those values, but then you got to get the non-structure items out of it. So boat slips, other common area stuff, land, obviously. So that all gets tricky. So we're engineering that, and we hope to roll that out next week so that will be able to help our condominium owners.
Oh, wow.
And we're recommending that all needs to be done through their association. Associations need to take the lead on those because it's by the building. You know, if they need to order an outside appraisal, it needs to be by the association for the benefit of all the unit owners on whatever buildings have damage. So those are a couple of things moving. Then we're going to move on to PUDs and townhomes because those are a little bit of a different animal with our data and how that system works. So we'll be working our way towards that. So all that kind of led to us offering a new service called a BVR, or Building Value Reconsideration. So this is I don't know that anybody's ever done this before, but we decided that we had the ability to deliver it with our staff and our technology, and obviously our desire to serve the people, and want to try and take any pinch points out for homeowners, because I knew the private sector appraisers were going to back up. There's not a whole lot of them that know how to do what we call actual cash value appraisals, which is really just a depreciated structure value appraisal in a nutshell. So they're learning. A bunch more appraisers are coming on board. We've actually, we're going to be offering some more training. We're bringing in an outside appraiser that is an expert in this, that's going to be teaching another round of classes on this. So we'll be educating more floodplain administrators, more building officials, anybody who wants to know about it, and of course appraisers and insurance people. It helps for them to hear it too. So those efforts are ongoing, and so this new BVR process, as we're calling it, offers people a free look. They can submit right through our website, submit documentation to us. It's primarily pre-storm photos that are, hopefully fairly recent. And if they've got any, contractor invoices or receipts within the past 24 months, things that can just give us guidance and help for justifying a factual change, because that's all we can do is a factual change. It's still going to be running off our system for 2024. What we had in our cost models, what we had in our sales comparison models, that type stuff, it's going to run on that, but we can modify those calls and see where it shakes out. And we've done about almost 100 of them so far. And in most cases, there's been some form of upward movement, sometimes pretty large upward movement. And sometimes it's been moderate, but it's been enough in a lot of cases to move the needle enough, especially when people are on the bubble. An extra 10 grand or 20 grand might get them where they need to be.
Gotcha. So this is when they are looking at their structure value, trying to remodel, build back.
Yes.
And they are exceeding their structure values lower than what they feel it should be.
That's right.
So they're going on to the Pinellas County Property Appraiser website, and they are looking for the BVR. Is that just on a drop down, or is that on their property specific?
You can get there a couple of different ways. It's right on our homepage. We've got an area in our announcement section where there's a whole bunch of links that are all storm resource related.
Okay.
One of those says request a building value reconsideration. There's also a speed button off to the left, not far from that same area, that says storm damage information. And if you go to that, it'll take you to our FAQ page, which rolls through about 13 different frequently asked questions, all related to the storm. And one of those, it addresses the BVR and has a link right there where you can jump right in and start your application process.
Gotcha. So I want to raise the value of my structure. I go online, I find the BVR link, I click it, I submit factual information, pictures pre-storm that's justifying what my property looked like. Maybe I'm submitting the invoices from the contractor's work, anything like that is working to justify that improvement or increased value of that structure.
Right. And I'd like to point out, You know, if it's the same base sub area, there's no change there. Like you didn't enclose your garage and make it living area and not let us know, things like that. It's not going to affect your taxes.
Okay.
So especially if you're a homesteader, if you're a homesteader, it's going to protect. It's inside the same four walls. It's under the Save Our Homes cap. We're just going to move the just value. We're not going to touch the assessed value.
Gotcha. Wow, that's
cool.
That's pretty cool to know.
So it actually helps reportability at the same time.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a good tool, because one thing we've been kind of warning people is, before you go spend money on an appraisal, or if you have an insurance claim, which is totally separate, to have a private adjuster, they're going to take 10% potentially of whatever value they come up with, to try to, there's some tools that you can do yourself that might get you what you need to be, whether it's to preserve what you have or to get more on your actual claim when it's, again, this isn't what the topic here is, but
right.
on your insurance claim. So instead, there's a bunch of people out there trying to sell services that you might not, that may be really good, that are acceptable, that would solve the problem that you don't have to pay money for. Now you have to use them and put some time into it, but you could potentially do this yourself.
That's correct. And I will say in probably almost 100% of the cases, if you got an outside actual cash value appraisal, it's going to come up higher than what our system is likely going to generate even after we do a BVR. And that's mostly because we're still not getting inside, doing that inspection, and the actual cash value methodology is slightly different than what we do in our system. So they're able to not have to hit it quite as hard on depreciation. They don't have to hit it for obsolescence and things like that, which our system does.